The date was October 23, 1944. In the cold forests near the Belgian-German border, seasoned German soldiers waited in their defensive lines. These were not inexperienced troops. They had survived the Eastern Front, endured North Africa, and fought across Europe. They believed they understood the American army by now. Reports had reached them about a new U.S. division entering the sector, the 104th Infantry Division, nicknamed the Timberwolves. Fresh from the United States, no combat experience, young, unproven. The Germans assumed this would be routine, another green American unit to push back with disciplined fire and superior experience. They were wrong. What those German troops did not realize was that the Timberwolves were commanded by a man who had already earned a reputation on 2 continents. A general known for doing things his own way. A commander so aggressive that his superiors had removed him from command once already, not because he failed, but because he refused to fight cautiously. His name was Major General Terry de la Mesa Allen. To his men, he was Terrible Terry. To the Germans, he would become something far worse. To understand why German veterans would later whisper his name with respect, and sometimes fear, we have to go back to the beginning. Terry Allen was born in 1888 into a military family. His father was a career Army officer, and his grandfather had fought for the Union at Gettysburg during the Civil War. Service wasn't just tradition in the Allen family, it was identity. Terry grew up on frontier army posts, learning to ride and shoot before most boys learned arithmetic. He belonged to the old cavalry army, shaped by a belief in mobility, aggression, and personal courage. But his path was not smooth. In 1907, he entered West Point, the United States Military Academy. It did not go well. Allen struggled academically, disliked rigid discipline, and failed key courses. By 1911, he was dismissed. For many, that would have ended a military dream. Not for Terry Allen. He completed his education elsewhere and earned his commission the hard way. That refusal to quit would define his life. During World War I, Allen finally got his chance to prove himself in combat. On the Western Front in France, he commanded infantry in brutal fighting at Saint-Michel and in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. There, he began developing ideas that would later define his career, especially the concept of aggressive night attacks. While most commanders avoided fighting in darkness due to confusion and risk, Allen observed something different. Night assaults, when carefully planned, often reduced casualties. Surprise disoriented defenders. Machine guns and artillery were less effective. Fear worked against the enemy. Allen was wounded in combat, but refused evacuation for long. His soldiers saw him bleed and keep fighting. That mattered. Leadership, for him, meant presence. After World War I, the Army shrank dramatically. Promotions stalled. Many officers stagnated. Allen waited. He trained. He studied. He prepared for another war he believed was inevitable. That war came in 1942. Allen was promoted to Brigadier General by Army Chief of Staff George C. Marshall, who recognized his talent for combat leadership. Soon, Allen was given command of the 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One of the most historic units in the American Army. In North Africa, American forces faced experienced German troops under Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. Early clashes were rough. At Kasserine Pass in 1943, American units suffered painful setbacks. But Allen's division stabilized the line. At battles like El Guitar, his men stood firm against German armored assaults. When tanks threatened his headquarters, Allen refused to retreat. He reportedly declared he would not pull out and shoot anyone who tried. His calm defiance steadied his troops. The line held. It was one of the first clear demonstrations that American infantry, properly led, could defeat seasoned German forces. The campaign moved to Sicily in mid-1943. At Gela, German armor counterattacked the landing beaches. The 1st Infantry Division absorbed the blow and repelled it, supported by naval gunfire. Later, at Troina, Allen's men endured 6 days of relentless combat and 24 separate German counterattacks. They held every time. And then, at the peak of his success, Allen was relieved of command. The official reasons involved discipline and administrative concerns. Allen focused more on winning than on parade ground perfection. His men adored him. Some superiors worried about him. Whatever the politics, he was sent home. Many officers would have faded into obscurity. Allen did not. He was given command of the 104th Infantry Division, the Timberwolves, composed largely of young, inexperienced soldiers. If Allen felt slighted, he never showed it. Instead, he trained them harder than almost any division in the U.S. Army. He revived his belief in night warfare. While standard units trained modestly, Allen pushed his division through intense, exhausting exercises in darkness. They practiced moving silently through forests, coordinating without lights or radios, attacking and reorganizing under pitch-black conditions. He believed the night belonged to whoever mastered it. By the time the 104th arrived in Europe in late 1944, they were unlike any other American division. So when German veterans prepared to face inexperienced Americans in Belgium that October, they were confident. The first attacks came after dark. American infantry slipped through the trees in silence. German outposts were overwhelmed before alarms could spread. Defensive positions were assaulted from unexpected directions. Artillery observers struggled to identify targets in the confusion. Machine guns fired blindly into shadows. By dawn, the Germans realized something unsettling. This division fought differently. The Timberwolves attacked again and again at night, forcing enemy units to remain constantly alert. Fatigue spread through enemy ranks. Defensive plans had to adjust. The psychological advantage shifted. Through the winter of 1944 and into 1945, the 104th fought across Belgium, the Netherlands, and into Germany itself. They crossed rivers under fire. They captured fortified towns. They advanced rapidly once breakthroughs occurred. Not once did they fail a major objective. In April 1945, they liberated the Nordhausen concentration camp. What they found, thousands dead, hundreds barely alive, hardened their resolve. This was no longer simply a military campaign. It was a fight against a regime responsible for industrialized horror. By the end of war, Allen had led 2 divisions to distinction. Both had earned reputations for aggression, effectiveness, and cohesion. General Omar Bradley, who had once removed Allen from command, later praised the 104th as one of the finest assault divisions in the European theater. Allen retired after the war as a major general. He never received a 3rd star. Perhaps he was too blunt, too aggressive, too unconventional for higher political command. But among soldiers, reputation matters more than rank. Years later, tragedy struck his family. His only son, Lieutenant Colonel Terry Allen Jr., was killed in Vietnam in 1967 while leading his battalion in combat, continuing the family tradition of frontline leadership. The loss devastated the aging general. Terry de la Mesa Allen died in 1969 and was buried beside his son. Today, West Point, the academy that once dismissed him, awards a prize in his name to the cadet who excels in military leadership. The German soldiers who once waited in Belgian forests expecting easy victory learned otherwise. They faced not reckless aggression, but disciplined ferocity shaped by relentless preparation. They encountered a commander who believed training saved lives, who turned darkness into advantage, and who demanded everything from himself before demanding it from his men.
Terry Allen never commanded armies. He never became famous in the way some generals did. But he won where it mattered, on the battlefield, with the lives of his soldiers at stake. And by the end of the war, even his enemies understood something clearly. When Allen's men moved in the night, the outcome was already decided.